I think you're a weapon.
If you ever want to stop the Fizzle Bomber, you'll never get another chance.
Pattern in our tracks. Who are you?
20 science fiction films that will melt your brain. Not the big budget movies everyone knows. These are the hidden gems that most people never discover. Imagine finding a secret door in your house that leads to 20 different universes. That's what these movies feel like. No fancy special effects needed. Just pure mind-bending imagination. Ready to have your reality turned upside down? Have you ever stayed up late and found something awesome?
After it passed, people get lost. They would end up in the wrong home.
He told us. Everybody knew.
That's how I discovered Coherence, 2013. The movie starts with friends having dinner when a comet flies over their house. Then things get super weird. Here's the cool part. The actors didn't even have a script. They just knew their characters and had to react to all the crazy stuff happening around them. It's like watching real people deal with the strangest night ever. Reality starts breaking apart, and nobody knows what's real anymore. It's like that feeling when you wake up from a dream and aren't sure if you're still dreaming. Every time I watch it, I spot new clues that the director hidden throughout the movie, like a really cool puzzle. Want to know what real-time travel might look like?
Listen, you're gonna stay on the line, and you're not gonna interrupt.
Primer, 2004, shows exactly that. Two friends who are really good at building stuff accidentally create a time machine while working in their garage. But this isn't like Back to the Future. There's no fancy car or lightning bolts. Instead, it shows what might actually happen if someone figured out how to travel through time. The filmmaker used to be an engineer in real life, so he made everything feel super realistic. The whole movie only cost $7,000 to make. That's less than what most people spend on a used car. Warning though, you might need to watch it a few times to understand everything. It's like solving a really tricky math problem, but way more fun. Imagine if you had a camera that could take pictures of tomorrow. What would you do?
No way. Mr. B invented a camera that takes pictures of the future.
This is just a start.
That's what Time Lapse, 2014, is all about. Three friends find this weird camera that shows them photos of what's going to happen 24 hours later. At first, they think it's the coolest thing ever. They can win bets and know what's coming next. But then, things start getting scary. They realize they have to make these future photos come true, or something terrible might happen. It's like being trapped in a game where you can see the next level, but you're not sure if you want to play anymore. The movie shows how something that seems super awesome at first can turn into a total nightmare. It makes you think, would you really want to know what's going to happen tomorrow?
Clearer.
You got 4 men of science.
The Man from Earth, 2007, is like the best story time ever. Picture this. A teacher tells his friends he's actually 14,000 years old and has been alive since caveman times. The whole movie is just people sitting in a room talking, but don't let that fool you, it's super interesting. As the teacher tells his story, his friends, who are all really smart college professors, try to prove he's lying, but for every question they ask, he has an amazing answer. Did he meet famous people from history? Was he there when important stuff happened? The more he talks, the more you start wondering, could he be telling the truth? The cool part is, you never really know for sure. It's like those late night conversations where you and your friends talk about what if questions, but way more mind-blowing.
My name is Dr. Mercurio.
How are you feeling? You look tired.
Okay, Beyond the Black Rainbow, 2010, is like the weirdest dream you've ever had. But in movie form, it's set in 1983, but not our 1983. It's more like what people in the 70s thought the future would look like. The whole movie is filled with crazy colors and has this awesome spooky music that makes you feel like you're floating in space. The director made it because when he was a kid, he wasn't allowed to rent certain movies, so he imagined what might be in them. The result is super trippy, like someone put a lava lamp, a sci-fi movie, and a haunted house in a blender. Don't worry too much about understanding everything that happens. Just enjoy the wild ride, like when you're on a roller coaster with your eyes closed. Ever wonder what would happen if aliens landed in your neighborhood?
Lovely fireworks.
Mommy.
Well, Attack the Block 2011 shows exactly that, but with the coolest twist ever. Instead of landing in New York or Los Angeles like most alien movies, these scary creatures land in a regular neighborhood in London, and the heroes aren't soldiers or scientists, they're just regular teenagers who have to defend their apartment building. The aliens look super cool too. They're like giant wolf creatures with glowing blue teeth that shine in the dark. Fun fact, the main hero is played by John Boyega, who later became famous as Finn in Star Wars. This movie shows that you don't need to be a superhero to save the day. Sometimes regular kids can be just as brave and awesome when fighting alien monsters. Have you ever looked up at the sky and spotted another planet?
Let's try another channel.
Another Earth, 2011, is about something incredible. A second Earth appears in the sky. But this isn't your usual alien invasion movie. Instead, it's about a young woman who thinks there might be another version of herself living on that other Earth. Could that other her have made different choices, made different mistakes? It's like thinking about those times you wished you could go back and do something differently. But instead of going back in time, you could just meet another you who did things another way. The movie makes you think about all those what-if questions in a really cool way. Get ready for something really different. Aniara 2018 is about a giant shopping mall in space. Sounds fun, right? Well, it gets wild when this space mall, which is actually a ship taking people to Mars, gets knocked off course. Now, they're floating in space with no way to turn around. It's like being stuck in an endless field trip, but in space. The movie shows how people try to keep themselves busy and happy when they can't go home. Some create fake nature rooms with computers, others throw parties, and everyone tries to pretend everything's normal. But being lost in space is definitely not normal. It makes you think about what's really important when you can't have everything you're used to. Triangle 2009 starts out looking like a regular movie about friends on a boat trip. But then things get super weird. The main character, Jess, finds herself stuck in a loop on a mysteriously empty cruise ship. Every time she thinks she's figured out what's happening, something even stranger occurs. It's like being stuck in the weirdest game of hide and seek ever, where you keep finding different versions of yourself. Every time I watch this movie, I notice something new. I had to draw a map just to keep track of everything that happens. If you like puzzles and mystery stories, this one will keep you guessing until the very end. Quick pause. If you're still here and your brain hasn't melted yet, you're exactly the kind of person who needs to hit subscribe. We're like movie detectives hunting down the weirdest sci-fi films in existence. Don't miss out on future mind-bending discoveries. Join our crew of sci-fi explorers. Here's one that will make your brain work overtime.
What was that?
Mike, it's an old house. It's gonna make noise.
That.
Resolution 2012. Two friends are stuck in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. But that's just the beginning. Strange things start happening around them. They keep finding weird photos, videos, and recordings that shouldn't exist. It's like someone or something is telling them a story, but they have to piece it together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And just when you think you know what's going on, everything changes. The best part is how the movie makes you feel like you're solving the mystery right along with the characters. Imagine watching TV and suddenly realizing the characters can see you too. That's kind of what happens in The Frame. 2014. Two people discover they're actually characters in each other's favorite TV shows. How crazy is that? They can watch what's happening in each other's lives through their TVs and even help each other out. But then they start wondering, if they're in TV shows, who's writing their story? It's like when you're playing a video game and suddenly wonder if your game character knows they're in a game. The movie gets super weird and makes you think about what's real and what's not. Sometimes I still look at my TV funny, wondering if someone's watching me through it.
Anyone near them? There's a crowd back in the corner.
It is better than anything you've ever tasted.
Upstream Color, 2013, is like the strangest puzzle you've ever tried to solve. There's this weird blue plant that creates special worms, and when people eat them, they start sharing memories and feelings with each other, and with pigs. I know, it sounds totally bonkers, but stick with me here. It's about two people who go through this super weird experience and then try to figure out what happened to them. The movie doesn't explain everything. It's like reading a story where some pages are missing, and you get to imagine what goes in the blank spaces. Sometimes the most fun part is trying to piece everything together after it's over. Ever been on a road trip that went completely crazy?
You may find it a bit disturbing.
Well, The Signal, 2014, takes that idea to a whole new level. Three college friends are driving across the country when they decide to track down a mysterious computer hacker. Bad idea. They end up in this super weird facility where nothing makes sense. The walls might not be walls, the floor might not be floor, and nobody knows what's real anymore. The movie starts like a regular road trip story, but turns into something completely different. It's like if you started playing a racing game and it suddenly turned into a space adventure. The ending will make your jaw drop. I had to watch it twice just to make sure I saw what I thought I saw.
Just the two of you.
When you go through the door,
You want to go back?
The One I Love, 2014, starts out looking like a regular movie about a married couple trying to fix their relationship. Their therapist sends them to this beautiful vacation house for the weekend. Sounds normal, right? Wrong. In the guest house, they find... Well, I can't tell you exactly what they find because that would spoil the surprise. But imagine meeting someone who looks exactly like you, but acts like your perfect self. It's like having a mirror that shows you your best possible version. The movie makes you think about what we want from the people we love, and whether being perfect is actually a good thing. It's funny and creepy at the same time. Quick question. If you could see 24 hours into your future, like in time lapse, would you want to? Drop your answer in the comments. Personally, after watching these films, I'm not so sure. Get ready for something really spooky. Monsters, 2010, isn't your usual alien invasion movie. Instead of showing huge battles and explosions, it's more like a road trip through a giant alien zoo. The story follows two people trying to get home through an area of Mexico where giant alien creatures live. But here's the cool part. The monsters aren't really the scary part of the story. It's more about how people live their normal lives in a world where giant aliens are just around. The director made this movie with a tiny budget and created all the special effects on his laptop. It proves you don't need $1 billion to make an awesome sci-fi movie. Just a great idea and lots of imagination. Ever wondered what it would be like to be the first person to explore space?
Go.
Our craft was heading for...
Commencing egress. Navigator.
Europa Report, 2013, shows us exactly that, but with a super cool twist. The movie follows 6 astronauts on a mission to Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, where they think there might be alien life under the ice. The whole thing is shown through cameras inside their spaceship and their spacesuits, so you feel like you're right there with them. What makes this movie extra special is how realistic it feels. The scientists and astronauts act like real people, not movie heroes. When they discover strange lights under the ice, or face dangerous problems in space, their reactions feel totally real. The movie uses actual science too. Everything from how the spaceship works to what Europa's surface looks like is based on stuff NASA has discovered. It's like watching a real space mission, but with an amazing mystery thrown in. If you love those old school radio shows and mysteries, you're going to flip over The Vast of Night, 2019. Set in the 1950s in New Mexico, it follows two teenagers, a switchboard operator and a radio DJ, who discover a mysterious signal coming through the phone lines and radio. While everyone else in their small town is at the big basketball game, these kids might be discovering actual aliens. The way the movie is filmed makes you feel like you're running through the empty streets with them, trying to solve this massive mystery. The best part is how it captures that feeling of being the only one awake in a sleeping town where anything seems possible. They use old school technology like tape recorders and switchboards to investigate, which makes it feel like a historical mystery and a sci-fi adventure all rolled into one.
You resonate on an ultra-low
Frequencies, 2013, also called OXV The Manual, presents one of the coolest what-if scenarios ever. Imagine if everyone was born with their own luck frequency. Some people are super lucky and everything goes their way, while others have terrible luck and nothing works out. The movie follows two kids growing up in this world, a boy with the lowest luck ever and a girl with the highest. According to the rules of their world, they shouldn't even be able to stand near each other without causing disasters. But they try to figure out if there's a way to change their frequencies and beat the system. It's like a science experiment mixed with a love story, where the characters have to solve the ultimate puzzle. Can you change your destiny? The movie makes you think about whether we can control our own luck and if some people are just born luckier than others.
Knowing the future.
Predestination, 2014, is like the ultimate time travel puzzle box. Every time you think you've figured out what's happening, the movie throws another mind-bending twist at you. It starts with a time-traveling agent trying to stop a terrorist, but it turns into something way more complicated and amazing. The less I tell you about the plot, the better. Discovering all its secrets is half the fun. What makes this movie special is how it takes the usual time travel ideas and turns them completely upside down. It's like reading a mystery where every clue changes what you thought you knew about the story. The movie is based on a famous short story by Robert A. Heinlein, and it'll make you want to draw diagrams just to keep track of everything that happens. Trust me, the ending will blow your mind.
Things would break.
It was like a...
Let's wrap up with Midnight Special, 2016, a movie that feels like E.T. meets a road trip adventure. It's about a father trying to protect his son who has mysterious powers. He can pick up radio signals and shoot light from his eyes. But instead of being a typical superhero story, it's more about the relationship between a parent and child. They're being chased by the government and a mysterious cult, all while trying to get to a specific location by a certain date. The movie keeps you guessing about whether the boy's powers are magical, alien, or something else entirely. What's super cool is how it shows ordinary people dealing with extraordinary things. The dad isn't a scientist or a superhero. He's just trying to keep his kids safe. It's like if your best friend suddenly developed superpowers. What would you do to help them? And there you have it, sci-fi fans. 20 amazing movies that prove you don't need huge budgets or fancy special effects to tell an incredible story. Which one sounds the coolest to you? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to tell me about any other hidden sci-fi gems you've discovered.